Yes, Lord. Good morning. I am live on Facebook, but I need to go live on Instagram. Good morning. I am live on Facebook, but I need to go live on Instagram. There you have it. There you have it. I am live on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. So let's spend a few minutes and invite people, invite a couple of people that are ready to come on, that are ready to be blessed, Share the broadcast, Are we live on Facebook? Because it says live, but I don't see it here. Okay. Good morning. Hello. Boy, this morning started off busy. It's only 7:09 and it started off busy. I want to dive in, so go ahead and invite some more people to join us so I can dive right in. Good morning. I hope you slept well. I slept pretty late, and so I feel like I didn't get all my sleep. The amount of sleep that I needed, I feel like I didn't get all of it. And so this morning, I might be just a tad bit slow. I might be moving a little, just a tiny little, just a tad bit. But we must finish what we started. I don't know if I'll finish Doors today, but yesterday, if you didn't watch it, go back and watch the video on Doors. I watched that video 3 times yesterday. After the live, I went to watch it 3 whole times. And I did that because obviously there were things that were said that I didn't plan to say. And I wanted to hear it and let it minister to me, so I can even partake of what God is sharing with us. But I listened to it 3 times specifically because every time I listened to it, I was hearing something new. So I kept listening to it to see where could I come in and better explain, or where can I come in and really hone in on something and emphasize something. So that is the reason. But we talked about what doors you open in your relationship. What are the doors that you have opened in your marriage, unbeknownst to you, and how those doors are impacting your life, how those doors are coming against your life. So this morning, as we go back to try to finish, I don't think I will finish. I will definitely may have to continue another time. Yesterday, we talked about lack of trust, and how not having trust in your relationship can play against you. Because you have no trust, you find yourself actually fighting your spouse, really for no reason. And then the spirit of jealousy comes in. And as the spirit of jealousy comes in, you feel justified because you see something. So I want to start today by going to Isaiah chapter 54, verse 17, because that is what we began yesterday. That's one of the verses that we ended with. So I wanted to start from there and continue. Isaiah chapter 54, verse 17. This morning, I pray for the help of the Holy Spirit. I've already prayed us through, so we're going to continue. 54:17. The King James said, "No weapon formed against you shall prosper, and every tongue that which rises against you, thou shalt condemn. And this is the heritage of the children of the Most High." Okay, that's 54:17. But I said yesterday there was another version that I couldn't fully remember. It was the NLT. And this is let me tell you what the NLT says. It's so powerful. The NLT says, "No weapon turned against you will succeed, and you will silence every voice raised up to accuse you." Did you hear that? No weapon turned against you shall succeed, and you will silence every voice raised up to accuse you. And it continues to say, this is the benefit enforced by God, God's servant. Listen, the weapons will form that you have no control over. But when it comes to fighting against those weapons, the Bible says that you will have to silence every accuser. You cannot silence the accuser if you are the reason why the accusation came. You cannot silence the accuser if you are guilty. You cannot silence. Okay, now we know that the Bible says even the rightful captive shall be delivered. The Lord delivers even those that have done things that are wrong. The rightful captive is you stole something, you got arrested, the Lord delivers you. You are a rightful captive because you broke the law. But even those people shall be delivered. But even though they shall be delivered, the Bible says at the same time, you must be the one to silence the accuser. So we're talking about the doors that we open in our marriages. If you open the door, how can you silence that accuser if you open the door? You can silence the accuser because you open the door. We talked about the door of lack of trust. Here's another door that we can talk about. Poor communication. There are people that just cannot communicate. You go to your spouse, you want to tell them something, you want to discuss something, and they're fighting you. Guys, share the broadcast. Yesterday, we got so many DMs, believe it or not, that this blessed the lives of many. I was just like, wow. It was just an on-time word. So share the broadcast with somebody. Poor communication is it's another one of those tools that the enemy uses against you, because everything you say to your spouse becomes anger. Everything you say to your spouse triggers them. Everything you say, they mishear. There is a spirit that changes what you said. You're like, but I didn't say that. They're like, no, you said it. And you can't convince them otherwise, because that thing has come to make you look crazy, has come to bring destruction. So no matter what you say and how you say it, your spouse will be offended. That's a spirit that is fighting against you. Lack of trust, poor communication, ignoring each other. There's so many people that use avoidance as a mechanism, as a coping mechanism. That's a negative coping mechanism. Avoidance is, okay, something happened, I'm going to walk out. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to discuss it. I don't want to be here for it. That is avoidance. And why are you avoiding your spouse? When you avoid, you don't talk about what is really going on. And because you don't talk about it, guess what? You get upset and you're walking around like a ticking time bomb, waiting for the right occasion to lose it, because you're going to lose it. There's no way you can go on and say, oh, I'm going to be silent. I'm not going to talk about this. I'm going to let it go. No, it's either you let it go completely, or if you're not going to let it go completely, then it's very important to talk about it. So the poor communication skills. All right, let's talk about needs. You've heard me say again and again, needs drive behavior. What you need is what will drive your behavior. When you're hungry, the behavior that ensues is what you need, is to fulfill that hunger. When a child is hungry, a baby is hungry, they will cry and cry. Their need, their behavior to cry, their choice to cry is led by the fact that they are hungry, or they are wet, or they want to be held. So their needs drive their behavior. A lot of marriages, people have unfulfilled needs. When your needs are unfulfilled, guess what? You're going to be like a ticking time bomb, because you're going to be resenting the person. You'll be upset that this person did not pay attention to you when they should have paid attention to you. You were feeling down. You went to your spouse and said, look, this is how I'm feeling. And the spouse still looked at you and was like, so, oh, they just don't have the capacity to even hug you or say hello or say, oh, it's okay. There's no empathy. The spouse has no empathy. And some spouse will even tell you, I wasn't raised this way. We didn't hug in our family. Sometimes you need a hug. Do you know what a hug will do to you? Sometimes you just need a hug, a mighty, beautiful hug. This morning I woke up, I just wanted a hug. And I went seeking for the hug because that's all I wanted is a hug. Because the hug really gives you that comfort. Why do we have teddy bears? Teddy bears, making millions of dollars off of teddy bears. Because the kids need something to hug. There are even adults who have teddy bears because they want to hug something, somebody. Okay? I had a friend who used to say, I just want somebody to hold me. They were saying how they were tired of being single. They just want somebody to hold them. And so a hug will give you life. A hug is like a holy kiss, right? Where you just get a good brethren to just hug you, hold you, and kiss you on the cheek. Don't kiss anywhere else, just the cheeks. All right? It is needed. You can thrive with hugs. There are people in nursing homes that are dying. They're dying because, one, they don't get visitors. See, when people go to hospice, how fast they die is not just due to the disease or the illness. They die based on the feeling, the social aspect of it, how they feel, people who visit them, the loneliness. So when you get much closer to the end of your life, you need more than just medication. You need more than just medication to overcome that sickness. You need love. You need care. You need attention. So it's very, very important that you allow yourself to connect with your spouse, especially in the times that you don't feel like it, or they don't feel like holding you or touching you. Still, go ahead and hug them. I'll show you a tip. This one, I'll give you a tip. If you're arguing with your spouse and it's too heated, it's just too heated. You're trying to, and it's just not going. Start taking off your clothes. It's just too heated. You're trying to get your point across. It's just start taking off your clothes. Just start taking off your clothes. Now, some of you will tell me, hey, not this spouse, this person. Even if you take off their clothes, they will just ignore you. Hey, we are all humans. Take off your clothes and work your magic. That's it. I can't tell you anything else. Because maybe you're playing music softly to talk to them, they don't listen. You are praying, you are just calm in your tone, they're not listening. Take off your clothes. That's it. That's your tip for the day. And if they are correct, believe me, they will forget what you were fighting about. Later on, you can talk about it. Okay? Don't be too serious in life. Just don't be too serious. There are spouses that are just unbearable to be around. It's like you love them, but you don't like them. You just don't like the spouse. You know in your heart, I don't like this person. Yes, I love them. I'm married to them, but I don't like them because their character stinks. Truth be told, right? Their character stinks. So don't ignore each other. When you make room, when you ignore each other, you get upset and you want to go to the other room. You literally open the door. You see the place where you get upset and you go to the couch. You just opened a door. And that door, the enemy will capitalize on it. Don't sleep in different bedrooms. Don't do it. No matter how upset you are, don't sleep in different bedrooms. You know, one of the things that, yes. No, go get ready. It's not too early. And so that's one of the things that when I was, younger in marriage, in my early years of marriage, we'll get up, we'll have an argument or something. He's upset. I'm not excited about the argument. I'm upset too. We go to bed and then he will hold me. I'm like, why are you holding me? Like in my head, I was like, why are you holding me? I don't get it. But soon I learned that even if I'm upset, I'm going to hold you. And I quickly had to just accept that if he doesn't hold me, he won't be able to sleep. And so whether it was for him, his own self to feel okay, or the point is, it was a behavior that was a good thing for us, because then we didn't have to stay apart for a long time, because I'm upset, but I'm going to hold you very close to me. I don't know the science behind that, but it worked. It worked. So that's another tip I just gave you. That's another tip. What else? I want to focus on, I wrote down some notes that I want to make sure I go through the doors, right? The doors to criticisms and blame. We talked about it. When you criticize your spouse, they become resentful. When you criticize your spouse, they become resentful because they may not say anything, but they are resentful to the fact that you said what you said about them. When you judge them, when you're too harsh with them, when you don't open up and you don't tell them the truth, when you judge them for everything they do, when you blame them for everything that happens. Imagine going through a loss and your spouse tells you you're the reason why the loss is happening. Imagine that. Imagine losing money, an investment money, and your spouse say you're the reason why we lost the money. Meanwhile, you both agreed to invest there. So blaming your spouse only creates resentment, and resentment festers. It festers, it stays inside of you and it grows. Remember the seeds that we sow. There is a seed that you sow. When you sow that seed, what happens? The door is cracked, the door is opened. So that seed, the enemy capitalizes on it and says, oh, they are arguing. This is a good place to step in. This is a good place to step in. Let me talk about the next one. When you withhold affection, I talk about criticism and affection. So when you ignore your spouse, you also can withhold affection. You can also withhold affection because you're saying, I don't want to hug you. I don't want to touch you. But when there's no physical intimacy and there's no emotional connection and you're drawing apart, the distance is coming and it's getting wider and wider. That's a big door to fail. That's a big gap. That's an open door you just gave the enemy to step in. And you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. Financial disagreements. There's so many people, so many couples who don't put their money together. I'm going to come here and talk about finances and marriage. When your finances are together, believe me, you multiply. You multiply. I'll come back and talk about finances, but I'm going to touch upon it just briefly. A lot of spouses do not share because one may have a really bad spending habit or whatever. This is your spouse. You're supposed to help them, build them, increase them, support them. If they have bad spending habits, which I'm sure you knew before you got with them, you knew. Because when you found that fine men, well-dressed, and you knew, this is where the person works, but the way they dress and the name brands they wear, you must know that this person has a spending issue. We want to go and ask them, oh, what do you think? Do you spend or do you save? No, you can see the person and see they don't save. Because if you're making $15 an hour and you're wearing name brands that cost thousands of dollars, you have a spending problem. That means you can't live below your means. There's a place in marriage, you just end up living below your means. In the beginning, when you don't have it. But then, even when you have it, you still spend time doing what? Spending less than. Where you spend 1/3 of your income. Can you imagine? We got to a place where we spend just 1/3 of our income. 1/3. Because there was no reason to spend what you make. Because you want to leave generational wealth to your family. How do you leave generational wealth to your family? How do you leave generational wealth to your family? Unless you work together. Unless you agree on where to spend your money, where to save your money. So that in itself can open a door because everybody has their own thing. Everybody is saving their money their own way. So that opens the door because now You're spending the money where you're not supposed to be spending it. You're taking your friends to dinner, members of the opposite sex to dinner, hanging out. Let me buy you lunch and doing all. No. If the money is together, when you buy the lunch, I'll be wondering why the lunch was $200, because by yourself, it shouldn't be $200. It's not a controlling tactic. It's so that there's open communication and transparency. But when the money is mine, I'm going to do everything on my own. I'm going to buy things on my own. I'm going to do everything on my own, my own. That's a door. That is a door. And financial disagreement can lead to a lot of things. Finance is one of the leading cause of divorce globally, because everybody wants to do their own thing when it comes to money. I'll come here and talk about money very soon. It creates tension, how the person saves, how they spend. It creates so much tension. Let's talk about unforgiveness. See, I'm giving you the list, and then we'll have a mini discussion. Unforgiveness. Unforgiveness opens the door to many things. When you don't forgive your spouse and there's an argument, you go back and say, this is what you did yesterday. This is what you did last year. The last time, this is what you did. Unforgiveness creates a void, creates tension in the home. Unforgiveness, although you may feel justified, literally brings so much coldness in your home. Unforgiveness makes you go back to the past, and you drag the past into the present, even though life is good now. Because of unforgiveness, you may end up bringing issues that are dead, issues that are old, and you keep bringing it and bringing it. It's not good for your mental health. Neither is it good for the relationship. It's like the relationship cannot move forward. I remember I was coaching this couple, and the wife told a story of what happened. And I was like, oh, wow. So when did this happen? She said 20 years ago. She said 20 years ago. And the way the woman told the story, I thought it was yesterday the thing happened. Are you guys here? But it was 20 years ago that this happened 20 years ago. The woman held on to it with dear life. Held on to it. I was shook because 20 years and she still was so offended by what happened. You know why that happens? A lot of times, the people so if the husband did something to the wife remembers it for 20 years because she feels like he never truly asked for an apology, that he never apologized, or he never made up for it. That's a lot of times that's what happens. Like, they don't feel like you were genuine when you asked for an apology. Or maybe you went back and did the same thing. So when you go back to do the same thing, guess what happens? Automatically, the spouse feels like you don't deserve to be forgiven because you said sorry, then you went back and did the same thing again. So you want to bear that in mind. No matter what happens, even in that instance, still forgive, because forgiveness is for you. One of the things that are hard to forgive is betrayal trauma. Betrayal trauma, let me explain, is cheating. Cheating. But when you cheat, you create betrayal trauma in your spouse. So naturally, it's hard to let that go because that person was traumatized. So you have to address it the same way as if they were abused. It's the same thing. It's trauma that comes from betrayal. And that is a real phenomenon. You may tell yourself, what's the big deal? It's the same thing, like you just let it go. It's not like any other thing where you just let go. So we have come to a close of the list that I want to share today. The last thing I want to share is infidelity. That is the last thing I want to share, is infidelity. It opens the door that you cannot necessarily, if you're not careful, you may not be able to shut that door. Infidelity opens a generational door. A generational door. Yesterday, I thought about the seeds that we sow. When we sow seeds, the door opens. And as I was meditating upon what I did on the live, what I spoke about on the live, 1 Corinthians 16:9 came to me. And it said I'm trying to think which version I'm gonna read. A great and effective door is opened unto me, but there are many adversaries. There are many adversaries. And I was led to ponder upon how when the door opens, adversaries show up. When the door opens in your life, enemies show up. When an opportunity comes, haters show up. You didn't know you had haters until you went and shared that you got a promotion. You didn't know you had somebody who envies you until you shared, hey, I'm pregnant. And then you found out that your close friend felt some type of way against you or towards you. You didn't know how your family felt until you shared that news. You didn't know. So I'm here to tell you, when doors open, the enemy shows up. Yesterday, I mentioned a crack in the door. A crack in the door. You're trying to arm. You're trying to arm your home. Put the alarm on, but you can't put the alarm on because there's a door that is opened. And because that door is opened, it's preventing you from securing the house. What doors have you opened in your marriage that is preventing you from having the marriage God intended for you? Like I said, infidelity can be more than just going and sleeping around. There are some that put insult to injury and go and even have children outside the marriage. Now, this is a generational curse you just opened up that it will be very difficult to close, because now we have live proof of your actions. We have proof of what you did. The children have to experience it. Your spouse has to experience it. Everybody has to experience what comes with it. The shame, the anguish, the trauma, the brokenness. Now, you also have to share the money that we are making together. We have to use some of this money and go take care of your bad decisions. It's gonna fester. This is something that can become very resentful for the other spouse. And you know, when the person who cheated gets caught, they quickly find a way to get over it. They usually just quickly get over it. Now you are left to yourself. When you bring it up, they say, don't bring it up. This is over. This is the past. If you don't want it, then do something about it. Instead of the person taking responsibility for their action, and so they say sorry and making decisions that are different. So if you cheated, and then now, when you say, I'm getting off at this time, and it's 2 hours later, no, it's your responsibility to tell the spouse you cheated on that, hey, I'm going to be here at this time. It's now you have to report yourself. And many people will look at that and say, oh no, why should I report myself? No, because you did something. And the thing you did, you were not supposed to do. Now you've opened the door to no trust. Now there's no trust. So now you have to reestablish the trust. Trust was given and you took advantage of it. Trust was given, you took advantage of it. And because you took advantage of it, now guess what? You have to earn the trust. You have to earn the trust. These doors that we open not thinking much about it. You see a friend at work, you see a friend at church, you see a friend wherever, you see a woman. As a man, you see a woman. You say to the woman, You look nice today. Or maybe you go to the extent of saying, I love the color of your lipstick. Hey, you love the color of another woman's lipstick. Did you take time and look at your wife's lipstick and say, I love the color of your lipstick? If you didn't, don't go commending, don't go encouraging, don't go giving comments to other women when you have not commented on your own wife. And even if you did, you can get yourself in trouble. Because why are you commenting on a woman? If a woman recognizes that you're taking note of her, you're taking notes of her clothes, her lips, everywhere. If a woman recognizes that you are paying attention to her, what the woman will do next time is she will come and she will make sure she will give you something to look at. Guys, I told you I'm a little slow this morning, but I hope you're catching what I'm saying. The woman will come, and when she comes, she will make sure you have something to look at. Today, you say her lips. Tomorrow, she'll make sure her pants is extra tight, so you can also see the behind. Next week, I will talk about, I'm done, 7:40, I'm wrapping up. I will talk about marital etiquettes. Take note of that. Marital etiquettes. The things that you're supposed to do, things you can do and not do. You see how you have etiquettes for eating, etiquettes for how to sit as a woman, etiquette for We'll talk about marital etiquettes next week, possibly Monday, we'll see. Marital etiquettes. What is appropriate, what is not? What you're supposed to do with a member of the opposite sex, what you're not supposed to do. I remember years ago, I did a teaching years ago, and I said, you know what? I don't think men and women should be friends. And I had somebody who was like, what do you mean? I don't think so. I don't see the problem. And they fought me on it. They're like, no, what's the problem? I don't see why you're saying men and women cannot be friends. And I mean, they fought for their case, and I let them win the case. I let them win the case. Years later, they said, wow, I get it. They said, I get it. Because the way we are set up, that's not how it's, the way our hormones work, the way our bodies work, the way our mind works, that's not how we're supposed to be. When you're married, you don't go making friends with a member of the opposite sex by yourself. You and your spouse can have similar friends that are together. You and your spouse can. But when you're married and you say, oh, this is my friend, what is that friend doing for you? Explain to me what the friend is doing for you. And you're not just saying that it used to be my friend, or you're like, this is my friend, and you want to choose that friend over the spouse kind of thing. No, it's an error. So we will talk about this next week. We'll talk about it. Marital etiquettes. I believe I'm done for the day. Today, I even stayed till 7:42. By 7:50, them kids got to go to school. But I'm excited that I came on. A little calmly, but I'm here. That I taught on this because, listen, we open so many doors in our lives, and we don't see how those doors impact our generation, how those doors impact our marriage. Many of the things that we experienced in our marriage, we opened that door. We went and complained to our family about our spouse. Now they don't want to let it go. You have forgiven your spouse because you're back with your spouse. They're not forgetting that the spouse did what they did. They can't forgive him because you went and said what you said. That's a door. When you give your in-laws access to your marriage to say anything, some of you, everything you run to mommy. Let me go tell my mom. Let me go tell my mom. You think your mom is the one destroying your marriage. Yeah, I said it. Your mom is the one talking about, because remember, either she lives with you or you are calling her. So she's also reporting the news you are giving her. Some of you is your mother. Some of you is that friend that you tell everything to. Is a door. where you call your friends and you want to talk about your marriage to your friends. So you call and you complain to that girlfriend about your spouse. Then the girlfriend says, okay, she doesn't even trust him. Well, let me find a way to get to the spouse. And so the man, because he too, his eyes are bothering him, you came and now they can see, they're seeing you. And now you sit here and your friend comes and picks up that husband and she's gone. You open the door. You open the door. So we'll pause on those. This is how far we've gotten with doors. I'm sure I'll come back and talk about it another time. If you didn't watch the replay yesterday, go watch the replay. It was powerful. Powerful because the things that were revealed in it, take your time and listen to it. And today I brought you the rest of the items I wanted to talk about. And so share it with someone and let them know we go live Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 7 a.m. We go live. Set your alarm, hit notification, DM us with questions, whatever, and share the broadcast. We're also on YouTube live right now. And so share it with someone. It's easier to share YouTube, I noticed. Not everybody has Instagram, not everybody has Facebook, but YouTube, I'm sure most people do. So go ahead and share it. Have an amazing day. You are blessed.